just throwing money, it doesn't work. And we already waste tremendous sums of money. So, and I think we owe that to the American public, to tell the American public, if you're going to give me your money, I'm going to be a good steward of it. And here's what I'm going to accomplish. I'm going to report back to you.
That is JPMorgan Chase's CEO, Jamie Dimon. He's speaking at the Investment Company Institute's general membership meeting. And he was making the case for just a little bit of more accountability when it comes to the billions of dollars of tax money that is given to certain entities to do something with. Here's the twist from what you just heard. He is not talking about corporations and the military and how they have to have some kind of accountability for the tons of money that is funneled their way. He's talking about infrastructure packages and social programs having to do those things. Let's hear from more what he had to say first before we get into more.
Again, our government doesn't do a great job at certain things, and they should be very clear about what they want to accomplish. So I've said, we all know Republicans want infrastructure too. I think it should be a bipartisan bill, but I think at each piece, and every piece to say on highways, how many miles are you going to build? How much is it going to cost? When's it going to get done? Who's responsible? On education, not just free community colleges, because we work with a lot of community colleges in the United States. How many kids are going to graduate? How many kids are going to have a job at $65,000 a year? So I worry about not just the bill, but we're just throwing money. It doesn't work.
We're just throwing money around. It just doesn't work. It's crazy how a CEO of a large corporation is concerned about us throwing money around, and then it doesn't work. Like trickle down, like job numbers, like livable wages, all those things that have been working fabulously with the money we've thrown around. Now, one other part of this before we open up the discussion, I want to quote one more part of what he did say in this same presentation with this business group. I got an email from someone today saying government is good at doing bad things, but it's really bad at doing good things. So government, I think, is when they pass these bills and stuff, they should have accountability, responsibility, expected outcomes, and then measure it and tell us about it. And they should be doing that everywhere. Every department should be doing a report, what we do with your money. Now, by the way, he's right. I'm totally fine with government and the government entities telling us what they're doing with our money, laying it out, letting us know what time this project's supposed to be done, what type of workers are on it, and how much money is going to each one, because that's our money. He's not lying, but the problem is when those types of requirements are even suggested for people like him. Oh, it's just give it to us. I mean, we're the smartest, we're the richest, we're the successful people. You got to listen to what we say. Give us the money, trust us. It has been said so many times by politicians that have been bought out by him because the money goes to them and funneled back in larger numbers towards these corporations and rich folks. And they say, well, trust us. All your wages are gonna rise when we rise.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the way it's always been in this country, right? That's why everyone's doing great. Homelessness isn't a problem, healthcare isn't a problem, housing isn't a problem. Nothing is a problem in this country, just because we give all the money to them and let it funnel back to us.
So I agree 100% with Jayar, but let me give you more details. So the first on the Jamie Dimon's point is not incorrect if you were actually not hypocritical about it. So in California, for example, we've given $13 billion to the homelessness problem. When our governor, Gavin Newsom, was asked, okay, where's the money? In fact, they passed a bill saying, tell us where the money is. He vetoed it. And he said, no, I don't care. I'm not gonna tell you. Ha ha. Well, where did it go? Are there homes? Are there not homes? What the hell did you do with it, right? And of course, he's a corporate Democrat, and you know what he did? He funneled it to his donors. That's what I'm led to assume, because you won't tell us where the goddamn money is. So now, but to Jayar's bigger point, wait a minute. Jamie Dimon, the head of a bank, is going to talk to us about accountability. Okay, but when we bailed you out in 2008, the American people, that's what we said. We said the bankers got to tell us where's the money going, how are they going to revive their banks, how are they going to pay the American people back, with what interest, how much of your company do we get as equity, because we are the investors in your company. You want to talk business, Jamie? We can talk business, because normally an investor takes a percentage of your company. What percentage of JPMorgan Chase do the American people own? Oh, none. Why? Because you legally bribed all the politicians to just give you blank checks. And over again, it wasn't just back in 2008. When this crash happened in coronavirus, what they do? They wrote another $4 trillion blank check to giant corporations. They did it through the American government and the Treasury, but they also did it through the Federal Reserve. They just print trillions of dollars and give it to Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon, did you report back to us? Did you report back to us? Where's my goddamn report, Jamie Dimon? I want it on my desk tomorrow. The arrogance of people like Jamie Dimon. And you know what? This guy, oh my God, in New York and DC, they love him. The Democrats love him. They're like, oh, he's such a big banker. Oh, Mr. Banker, Jamie Dimon, you're so smart and great. Here's another $1 trillion. No. You want to talk about accountability? Let's talk about accountability. And by the way, we gave you $2 trillion in tax cuts for the rich under Trump. We gave you $4 trillion in tax cuts for the rich under Bush. Where's the goddamn money, Jamie? What'd you do with it? Did you create $65,000 a year jobs? How many did you create? How many jobs did you create? Now, we said that about the Trump tax cuts. We told you they weren't going to create jobs. A lot of loose talk on CNBC at the time. Oh, we're going to take the money and we're going to create jobs. That giant corporate tax cut, bringing down the tax rate from 35 to 21%. Well, we did research on it. We showed it to you here. We showed it on TYT Investigates. They didn't create any goddamn jobs. What they did was stock buybacks, and they made themselves richer. You want to talk about accountability? The problem is there is no media in this country. Mainstream media is so terrible. When they see Jamie Dimon and he's rich, they melt. Oh, Jamie Dimon, tell us what. We'll write it down. We'll write down word for word. We'll never challenge you, Jamie Dimon. And same thing with the Democrats, the same thing with the Republicans. The powerful in this country make me sick. Trae.
All right, well, first of all, preach. I don't know how much I can add to that beautiful tirade about the hypocrisy of all this. I agree with everything you said, but I do have a brief personal anecdote that relates to this. When I first started in comedy a little over 10 years ago, my day job was actually working for the US Department of Energy, and I was hired as part of the American Reinvestment and Recovery Act program, the Obama era stimulus package. And in my experience with that, I was specifically working on renewable energy grant programs for American cities and counties, right? And in my experience, there were plenty of specifics and plenty of metrics that related to how that money was spent and the goals of it. Like, I just don't know that I buy this billionaire's premise that apparently the Biden administration's plan is to send people to broke down bridges with buckets of cash and tell them to throw it in the air and be like, somebody make this bridge good, and then just get back in the helicopter and fly off, or whatever he's implying. Like, I'm not even willing to give him the very basic element of the premise in addition to all of the things that you said as well. So yeah, I just dislike every single thing about this, I guess is all I'm trying to say.
Look, I'll give one more example of accountability. Right now we're talking about, hey, the drug companies, are they gonna give the vaccine to developing countries? Well, we could have made that deal when we gave them the giant subsidies for the vaccine in the first place. But the government never asked for that accountability because they're not the boss. Their corporate donors are the boss. And that's who runs this country, corporate machines. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.